Good evening. Welcome back. We are in the middle of Perek Daled, chapter 4 of Shaar HaBitachon. And we've been talking about the necessity of creating kalim, natural vessels for Hashem's brachas, and the irresponsibility of refusing to do so, even though we know that those vessels don't actually help or hurt us, but this is the system that Hashem has set up, and therefore this is how we're supposed to do things. Okay, now, continuing inside the text, V'im lo yevoyehu hateref ala ponim asher sibev aleihem. Let's say that it doesn't work out and a person does not secure a livelihood through the means that he has employed. Okay, you mean I was supposed to put forth effort, I put forth effort, and it didn't work. All right, calm down, hold on. Afsher sheteref yemei kvar kodem etzlei v'hu b'reshusei. It's possible the reason you're not making any money today is that the money you need, you already have. Or it might come to you through a different way. Two possibilities. You didn't make any money today could mean just because you already have the money you need for today. The Bachaye says maybe it's some object that you own in the house that you need to sell, that you could pawn off, but you have the assets. You might have to liquidate them, but if you didn't make money today, maybe it's because you have it already. Or another possibility, maybe you don't have it, maybe it has to come to you, but not through the channel that you were pursuing, which is fine. You know, I'm sure everybody has heard the vort about the fish. Yeah. By the way, if anyone can ever find the source of the vort about the fish, please let me know. But everybody knows the vort about the fish. That when you open up a fish, I'm talking about big fish who eat little fish, you would expect that the fish in the stomach, the little fish inside the stomach of the big fish, would be facing the same direction, because this is a fish and this is a fish, okay? So the big fish, like, by the way, baby shark. Okay, this is like the little fish, and the big fish is chasing it. Oh, and he grabs it, right? And that's what you would think you would find when you open up the big fish. You'd find the little fish facing the same way because he was chasing him, right? But then actually when you open up the fish, what do you find? I asked a fisherman about this once, and he said it's absolutely true. What do you find? You find that the fish inside the big fish are pointing the other way, like this. So how do you explain that? So the vort is that while the big fish was chasing his prey, and he was trying to catch one fish, Hashem sent him another fish that he wasn't chasing. And the idea is that sometimes what you were chasing isn't the thing you catch, but you still got to chase, okay? It doesn't mean that what you were chasing is what you're going to catch, but it is important to chase. What did I want to say? Oh yeah, that's one of the reasons why on Shabbos we eat fish, because a person might think that if he doesn't work on Shabbos, he's going to lose out on parnasa. You should know that the parnasa that you're supposed to have, Hashem's going to send it to you, okay? But again, like we've been saying at length in chapter 4, not if you sit there and do nothing. You have to pursue things, but just remember, it's funny because we really in our minds connect our shtadlus with causation, that our shtadlus literally causes our parnasa, and it doesn't. We have to engage in shtadlus, but in the end, our parnasa comes to us based on however Hashem wants to send it to us. Okay. Continuing. So whatever the case may be, a person should pursue some means to a living. And he shouldn't be lax about pursuing them, provided they are appropriate to his character, ula gufe, and his body, ula munase, and his faith, ula elame, and to his place in the world, meaning his class. Kasher kidamti, like I've already explained. At length we were explaining about how it really is important to pursue a kli for parnasa, which is appropriate to your personality and your body type and your experience and even your preferences. Okay. V'yiftach im zeh ala likav shaloi yazveyu v'lo yarpeyu v'lo yisalem imenu. And at the same time you're pursuing this, he should place his trust in Hashem, that he will not abandon him, neglect him, or ignore him. Kameshinema, like it says, Teiv Hashem lemo'ez b'yem tzara v'yedea chaysevei. Hashem is a good stronghold on the day of trouble. He knows those who take refuge in him. V'chein neimar, and also it says, Be'inyin habrios v'acheli, regarding health and sickness. Okay, so till now, this was just speaking about parnasa, about a livelihood. What about matters of health? And the Rabenu Bachaye is going to say that we apply essentially the same principles to maintaining our health, as well as seeking healing when we need it. Okay, Ki ala adam livteach b'beida bazeh, a person should trust in Hashem regarding this, but at the same time, even though you have bitachon, doesn't mean that because we are religious Jews and we have bitachon and therefore we don't have to wear masks or keep social distancing. Yeah, I said that. Yeah, it's going to make people mad. What do you want? Ulishtadol, but at the same exact time, ulishtadol basmadas habrius besibas asher mitivon zeh. We should pursue. This is Rabbeinu Bachaye saying this very clearly here. That at the same time we have bitachon in Hashem, a person should seek continued health through natural means. V'lidches hamadve b'ma shenagu lidchesei, and he should fight illness in the customary way to do so. As our Creator, may He be exalted, commanded us, v'rapoi yirapei, His healing He should give. Mibli sheyivtach al sibais habrias v'acheli shehein ma'ilais oy mazikais elabarashus abeda, without, at the same time, without having faith in the power of the natural causes of health and illness to help or harm him, except with Hashem's permission. So it's interesting. On one hand, you have to have bitachon. Health is only from Hashem. At the same time, you have to do the natural, normal thing. At the same time, though, don't think that doing the natural, normal thing is what actually helps or hurts you. It's really only Hashem's blessings that help or hurt. There's a lot of interesting commentary right here regarding where we talk about natural means. Besibas asher mitivon zeh, the natural means. The teva lavonin, he says it's talking about herbs, and that Rabbeinu Bachaye is excluding here superstitions which are halachically forbidden. There are certain superstitious segulais, remedies that are supposed to bring health. Teva Lavanin says that when Rabbeinu Bachaye says natural means, he's specifically excluding that kind of stuff. What is that specifically? Ask your Rav, ask your Mashpia. When it says the customary way, when we said velidches hamadva b'masha nagu lidchese, to push off, to fight illness in the way that is accustomed or customary to push it off, to get rid of it. What does that mean, customary? So the Pas Lechem, another one of our favorite commentaries here on Chovos HaLevavos, Pas Lechem explains something very interesting. He says that medicine has a placebo effect. We all know that, about the power of the placebo effect. Because when you believe in a treatment, it makes it more efficient, it makes it more effective. So if somebody behaves in the customary way, then it makes it more effective because he knows he's doing something that's the customary way. This is what works for so many people. For that reason, medicine is different than nutrition, because when you consume food, you naturally receive the nutrients that you need from the food. But healing is different. There's so many psychological factors when it comes to healing. And that's why the Pas Lechem points out that in the Gemara, there's a special blessing that we're supposed to say when you perform a medical procedure, that it should be successful, because there's so much more than just the actual, biological effect. Let's continue here. Vikasha yivtach b'beire, and when a person trusts in his creator, yirpo'ehu mechalye b'siba bilti siba, he will cure him, the creator will cure him of his illness by natural means or without natural means, however he wants. Kamei shenemar, like it says, yishlach dvarei v'yirpo'eim. He sends out his word, Hashem sends out his word, and he heals them. So it's Hashem's word that heals us. Ve'efsher shirpa'ehu bedavar amazik harbe. In fact, not only can Hashem heal us any way he wants, even though it's up to us to pursue natural, regular, normal means of healing, but at the same time, Hashem could heal us any way he wants. Not only could he heal us any way he wants, he could even heal us with something that normally is damaging, with a davar amazik. Like the story in Tanakh about Elisha and the bad water. Shiripa hazekam b'melach, that he cured its unwholesomeness with salt. Kamesha kosev, like it says, v'hamayim royim v'ha'oretz mishakelas, that the water was bad and the earth was barren. Just after Eliyahu was taken up to heaven in a fire, Elisha is in Jericho, and the people of the city tell him that the water is bad, and like flint. And upon hearing this, Elisha asks for salt, and he throws it in the water. And he says, "Thus says Hashem, I've healed the water, and the water is cured." No pun intended. Cured. I think it was a good pun. Anyways, the Pas Lechem points out that there's nothing that makes water more inconsumable than salt. And yet, Hashem tells Elisha to cure the water with salt. So Hashem can use any means he wants, even something that is absolutely counterintuitive. Then we have another story. We have the story of the Mayim Hamorim, the bitter waters, and I think at the end of Parshas B'Shalach, that's with Moshe Rabenu. So it says, Hashem showed him, meaning he showed Moshe Rabenu a tree, and it was a bitter tree to throw into the water. V'ramo akadmenim, the ancient ones say, what was that wood that he threw into the bitter waters to cure them? Shaya eitz shel hardfuni. It was a certain type of bitter tree. So he was treating the bitterness with bitterness. It's counterintuitive. V'chameyu, and similarly, Yisu develas ta'enim v'yimchru ala shchin v'yechi. That's another story. That is talking about Chizkiyahu, when he was on his deathbed, and he prayed to Hashem to remember him and to remember his faithfulness. And the prophet Yeshayahu appeared and told him that he'll be cured, and he told him to bring fig cakes to heal him. The Medrash says that it's the nature of figs to be bad for skin, and how much more so if the skin is unhealthy with boils, the Pas Lechem points out. And nevertheless, in this case, precisely the thing that you would think is bad for this case was the treatment for it. Ukvar yadaita mashahoya me'inyan asa kshabatach ala reifim v'hiniach bitchenim belakim b'chalye mahamusa v'hateichacha lai. And you already know. How do you already know? We spoke about it in the third introduction, right? The third Hakdama in chapter 3. We spoke about the king Asa and how he put too much stock in the healers. Va'amar akasav kihu yachiv v'yechbosh yimchatz v'yadav tirpena. It says, he hurts, but he soothes. He wounds, but his hands also heal. That's a pasuk from Eov, and that's talking about Hashem. Hashem is the true healer. The doctors are just like we were speaking about having a job is really just deniable plausibility for Hashem to sustain you miraculously. The doctors are the same thing. The doctors are the deniable plausibility for Hashem to have an alibi when he heals you miraculously. Okay? Fine. Upirish hachelek hasheni. Now let's explain the second group. Remember from the beginning of this chapter, we said there are different types of concerns. So we dealt with the first type of concerns. Now we're going to deal with the second type. Uhu inyane kinyane ha'adam. These are matters relating to a person's possessions, visibis tarpai, and his source of income, va'afne asakov, and his different business dealings, whether it be b'mischar, in commerce, umalacha, or handicrafts, va'alichas hadrachim, or business travel, uminoi, or high office, uschiris, or salary work, upekidus, or civil service, va'avedus hamalachim, or working for the government, vigizbares, or being a financial manager, vikablanus, or property leasing, va'amana, or a credit business, visafrus, or serving as a scribe, umini avedus veliches hamidbares, v'hayamim v'hademe, or providing other services like crossing deserts or undertaking sea voyages and similar occupations. Things that people engage in to accumulate money and lead a life of luxury beyond their needs. Pas Lechem explains that this refers to two types of people here. That's the person who's stingy, and so he doesn't spend his money on anything. He just accumulates wealth, more wealth than he spends. And then it could also be somebody who spends it all, but he spends way more than he needs to spend because he likes to pamper himself and to get luxuries. At any rate, let's talk about this second type of concern. Ofne yesh HaBitachon bohem alu elakim sheyisasek b'mash shezimin lay abeire mehem letzerich sipukei mezayne lagia el mash yesh bay dai min ha'elam. The proper way of relying on God in these matters is for one to engage in whatever occupation the Creator has prepared for him, to the extent necessary for his maintenance and sustenance, to attain what suffices him in this world. Just to do enough. Don't go overboard. Don't do more than necessary. If Hashem has ordained for him to have more than his necessities, it will come to him without burden or toil. Just as he relies on Hashem for it. He doesn't have to go look for different means to attaining it, and he should definitely not emotionally rely upon it. If Hashem hasn't decreed that he should have more than his needs, that he should have expendable wealth, he can work all the work in the heavens and the earth to try to increase. He's not going to be able to increase it in any way, shape, or form. You know, there's a famous mashal in Chassidus. I think the original source is from Derech Mitzvei Secha, from the Maimer Tiglachas HaMetzaira, which is a favorite Maimer of mine. But over there he says that business endeavors are providing, a keli. We've been speaking about this at length. And a mashal for this is clothing. Actually, clothing sometimes is also called kelim. Clothing is not in a category of kol hamarbe harei zeh meshubach. Oh, this suit fits perfectly, but you know what would make it even better? Let's make it even longer. Let's make it even bigger. No, you don't want that. You want your suit to fit. If you make it bigger than it needs to be, not only does it not fit, but you're going to trip on it. So the same thing is, if a person has a kli for parnasa, that's enough. Don't expand the kli. That's like making your clothing bigger. It's not going to help. It's actually going to hurt because you're going to end up tripping on it. Okay. V'kasher yivtach belakim. But if he has trust in Hashem, yimtza menuchas libay v'shalvas nafshay, he will find peace of mind and tranquility of the soul. Ki loy yavrenu chukei el zulase, because his allotted portion will not be transferred to another. V'loy yakdim v'loy yacher mi'itay hanigzer leibay, nor will it come any earlier or later than the appointed time. That's it. So, bottom line, have bitachon. That's rule number 1. It's probably rule number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And then have a job. And the same thing with health. Have bitachon and see a doctor. Okay, but the main thing to remember is these natural means do not actually have power to help us or to hurt us. Hashem is the one helping us, and only He can decide what we're going to get. And if He wants us to have something, then any suitable means is going to be good enough for it. And to tell you the truth, like we were saying, even unsuitable means, because if Hashem really wants to, He can send healing or parnasa through a very counterintuitive path. If He wants it to get to us, it'll get to us. Okay? Fine. So the question, is it proper ishtadlus to seek out the best doctor? I'll tell you, I've seen many times in the Rebbe's letters where the Rebbe will say to speak to a Reifa Yedid, a doctor who cares about you, a friend, a doctor who's a friend. I've seen also many times the Rebbe will say to get a second opinion, and not even as like because I didn't like what the first doctor said, but to get a few opinions. Whether I've seen where the Rebbe suggests dafka to find the top specialist, I can't recall. I can't recall if that was something that the Rebbe ever recommended, but certainly there is an idea of trying to do your due diligence, and it's not just, go to the doctor and the first thing he tells you, just listen to him. You want to see the right doctor. But again, what does it mean, the right doctor? Definitely someone who cares about you. Like we were mentioning before, remember that healing is so funny because there's so much about healing that's psychological. Remember that earlier we were, who pointed that out? One of our commentaries, where the Pas Lechem. Yeah, remember the Pas Lechem was saying how healing, there's so much that's psychological about healing. So it really does matter if the doctor cares about you. Does it matter because it makes them technically better? I don't know. Maybe it does. Does it matter because there's some type of healing energy? Maybe. I don't know. I mean, I don't know otherworldly things. I know there are powers beyond us that exist, but I don't know how they work. But or does it work because when you feel good about the treatment, it works? I don't know. And you want to call that placebo, and maybe it is a placebo, and maybe it works, so who cares if it is? But there is such a thing as, being comfortable with your doctor and having a relationship with the doctor. And also, again, to seek more than one opinion. Don't just listen to somebody. And there's another concept as well. If a doctor is negative, don't listen to him at all, because permission was granted to the healer to heal. He only has power to heal. He doesn't have power, God forbid, to condemn anyone and tell them that they're beyond healing, God forbid. So those are some important rules when seeking doctors. Okay, fine. So we're going to continue again next week. This is Thursday night, so we don't have class tomorrow night. We'll continue Mitzvah Shem next week. Thank you, everybody, for joining us again. And signing off for now.